Immediately after God told me that was not the place, I left. But the truth of the matter, I cried because this was after living about 4 months praying for a place and not finding a place. So it was tears for me. I kept on crying in the keke and going back home. And after that, that same night that I obeyed God was the same night the family of Katsina, the first people that gave me a place to start my church, they called that day and told me they wished I should pray for them. That's what, before I could go there. I prayed for them concerning a matter. I prayed that prayer on Thursday. The Lord showed up on a Friday. And because of that, they were eager to see me. When the Lord told me that was not the place, they were the first people that called me the next day in the morning. In fact, I guess they called my parents first. Called my parents and told my parents that why not pastor? We wish pastor should come over and stay instead in Jikwe other than going to Massacre. That was how I came over to Jikwe to take one of the apartments they had built but was not yet completed to start seeing people. That was the beginning. Immediately, the Katsina family called. I came up immediately. I inquired of the Lord and God answered to it. And I could remember vividly how he came up. That's Daddy Katsina. I call him Daddy K, or the one who gave that name, Daddy K. And then he came around, began to help me pack things. And then we arranged one of the places. There was no door yet. Paintings were not done. Nothing was necessarily done. The roofing was done. Ceilings were done. But there were no doors, no ties, and all of that. So we cleared up the place and I sat down and began to see people. In those days, when I say see people, sometimes it could be just one person for a whole week, but you are just seated there. And then I would leave Naval Estate, come over, see people, and go back. One day, the Lord said to me while I was staying in the comfort of that wonderful house, leave this place, go down to where you are doing the church and stay there. That was how I moved down to the church and began to sleep within the church premises. And sometimes I would need to sleep and wake up very early in order to clean up the place and stay there. While I was there, that was how the Lord helped me to have one of my sons come over and began to stay with me in the place, and we would just dress up the place, clean up, then sleep at night, wake up in the morning, dress up the place, and begin to see people.
When I came, the surprising thing, what surprised me the most is that someone that graduated from school and was have the all certificate that was needed for a better job in Abuja. So the first thing he told me that really marveled me and really shocked me at that moment, he told me that the Lord told him not to work. At that time, things were not that stable here. There were no doors, or even the place where we started the church, there were no doors, there were no windows. And at least it was just there was no tiles on the floor. It was just a place that was just a floor. I remember the first night we slept away. You have to arrange chairs. He kept, and there was 2 chairs was there, and the coach was around the other side, so we kept our legs on the chair and we just relaxed. I noticed we had a car. I saw a carton outside, so I had to put the carton in so that at least that second night will be it will be at least relaxed. We can relax ourselves on at least on something. So the second night we slept on the carton. We slept on mat for about 4 to 6 months or so.
Yeah, we say it wasn't too easy. Mind you, I was coming from already a balanced home as an only child, having some things at my disposal. Then I was going to travel over. One of the funny things was that the Lord gave me a clear instruction that I shouldn't work. I shouldn't submit my CV anywhere. So ever since I graduated from university, I've not submitted my CV anywhere. And so I was coming back to a state of life where I was going to manage a lot of things financially. April was the moment, and then June, July was the settlement, particularly June particularly. And then in June, we started gathering for fellowships on Sunday evenings. People will come, and another instruction God gave me, never to go out necessarily for evangelism. So we never went out for an evangelism. How we did our evangelism was that we wake up, I would tell my young man, Pastor Charles, currently Pastor Charles at that time, he was Minister Charles, I would tell him dress up, and then we'll begin to walk around that parlor and command souls within Abuja that are meant for us to come. And that was how people were coming. One after the other, people kept on coming. No signboards, no flyers, nothing. September 5th, if I'm not mistaken, in September, the Lord said, now you are going to start a church officially. I was intending to do a Sunday service only with Charles, when one man who had not gone to church for over years decided and said, I want to make up time for the church. And he came over and sat down. This man was listening to me, and in a few minutes he removed the phone and began to record what I was preaching. After my short message for that day, this man sat back with me for over 3 hours, talking with me and appreciating God and telling me how he had never heard the scripture explained to these depths. And the prophetic word I said to him, that man was the man who left, brought a lady to the church by the name Sister Becky, and that was where God proved himself. I prophesied to her life, told her when she was going to get a job, and God honored it accurately, that she got a job with the date I even prophesied. And that became the bedrock of the beginning of God's wondrous works. Staying in the parlor, we stayed for quite some time. We started renting chairs first, and from the renting of the chairs, we started having people sit within the parlor and outside the parlor. And gradually we began to have people, and we introduced 2 services for people to sit in and outside the parlor. We continued there until the parlor could not contain us. Before I could even realize what I was saying, in less than 2 months, the Lord provided us a land through someone. Like I said, I came to church, looked at the members and said to them, I heard the Lord today say to me that we are going to have a land before the 6th month of this year. I could see the smile on people's faces. It showed them maybe this pastor was not serious. I remember February, someone had just connected one of the women, the great women, profound women in the land, to my life. And I picked the phone. While praying with this woman, the Lord said to me, you're going to have a call. And all of that prophetic accuracies. I said to her, you're going to have a call. And then the call came. She had retired already. I said they were going to call you back from your work. And before you know, that was on a Wednesday. The following week on Wednesday, the call came in exactly as I had said. She was amazed at that kind of accuracy. Sent another issue to me. I looked at it and I said to her exactly the date that God was going to show up for that. I remember looking at a case that she sent, and I looked at it and I said, Ma, when I was looking at this case, I saw 7. And then she said, what's the meaning of the 7? I said, I don't know, but it's a perfect thing that God was going to do on that 7. On Saturday, they sent an email and said, the case you're looking at is going to come up on the 7th. And the children were all aware of this. That woman was the person who sat down and said, I and my family have decided by God's grace, and we have said, come over to town and look at something. I went into the town of Abuja. I looked at one of the locations in Abuja, just looked at a land and something building. I was thinking she was calling me to go and pray for the property. Before I could know what was happening, she called me back and said, the Lord said I should give you that property, the papers and everything, and you should not pay a single dime for it. That was the land that I picked up, and since it was far from the location of the church, and then sold it and got a land, got other things as the Lord would permit us to do. And that became the bedrock of the land we have today as the land of the church. While that place was still open, the Lord said to me, go over there and start your fellowship. We finished a program with the youth called Retreat, Recharge, Refire. When we finished that program, the Lord said, don't go back inside again, stay there. So we began to hold our programs there. Rain will come, we stay there. Everything that comes, we stay there. And we stand on the sun sometimes while the church is ministering.